My family didn't invite me to the reunion, so I showed up unannounced, shared my engagement news, and finally took a stand for myself. When the invitation never came, I wasn't surprised. Not really. My family had this way of making me feel like a supporting character in the story of their lives. But when I scrolled through social media and saw the glittering posts about the upcoming family reunion, something inside me snapped. For years, I'd kept my distance, swallowed my pride, and let their actions snap. My family had a knack for subtle slights, forgetting to invite me to gatherings, dismissing my achievements as unimportant, and always managing to make me feel like an afterthought. It wasn't just one incident. It was a pattern that had left me questioning my worth and wondering if I'd ever truly belong. But this time, it was different. This time I had news. Big news, and I was done letting them sideline me. The reunion was set for a Saturday afternoon at my cousin Emily's sprawling estate in Connecticut. The estate had always been the epicenter of our family's lavish get-togethers, reflecting their preference for appearances and status over genuine connection. Growing up, these events were a reminder of the unspoken hierarchy in our family, one where I never quite fit in, often feeling like an outsider amid the glitz and formality. The place was all manicured lawns and white picket fences, a picture-perfect venue for a gathering of people who prided themselves on their curated appearances. I'd always felt out of place in those settings, but I'd decided this was no longer about fitting in. This was about showing up. For myself. On the morning of the reunion, I dressed with care. My fiancé Julian helped me pick out an outfit, a deep emerald green dress that hugged my curves, and a pair of understated but elegant heels. "You look incredible," he said, planting a kiss on my forehead. Julian had been my rock through the ups and downs with my family, and his steady support gave me the courage to do what I was about to do. The drive to Emily's house was a blur of nerves and determination. As we pulled up to the estate, I saw the driveway was already packed with luxury cars. Laughter and the clinking of glasses floated through the air. Julian squeezed my hand. "Ready?" he asked. "As I'll ever be," I replied, stepping out of the car. The first person to spot me was my Aunt Linda. Her eyes widened in surprise, and her smile faltered for just a second before she plastered on her signature look of polite disdain. "Oh, hello," she said. "We didn't think you were coming." "I wasn't invited," I said, letting the words hang in the air. Her cheeks flushed, but before she could respond, I walked past her, Julian by my side. The backyard was filled with familiar faces. My parents were chatting with Uncle Rob near the barbecue. My siblings, Claire and Michael, were laughing with a group of cousins by the pool. No one seemed to notice me at first, and for a brief moment I considered slipping out before anyone could. But then Julian whispered, "You've got this," and I straightened my shoulders. "Hey everyone," I called out, my voice trembling slightly. The conversation stilled, and dozens of eyes turned to me, their expressions a mixture of surprise and curiosity. My heart pounded in my chest, and my palms felt clammy as I forced myself to hold their gazes. The laughter and clinking glasses from moments before seemed to fade into an oppressive silence, broken only by the faint rustling of the trees. Every second stretched, the weight of the moment pressing down on me like a physical force. Still, I stood tall, refusing to let my nerves betray me. The silence was deafening. "Surprised," I said, forcing a smile. Claire was the first to break the silence. "Wow, look who decided to show up," she said, her tone dripping with sarcasm. I ignored her and walked over to my parents. "Hi, Mom." "Hi, Dad," I said. They looked uncomfortable, as if they'd been caught doing something they shouldn't. "We didn't think you'd want to come," my mom said finally, avoiding my gaze. "You mean you didn't think I should come?" I corrected her. "But I'm here, and I have something to share." Before they could respond, I turned to the crowd. "Julian and I are engaged," I announced, holding up my left hand to show off the sparkling ring. The initial silence was punctuated by a few gasps and murmurs rippling through the crowd. My mom's eyebrows shot up in shock, while my dad exchanged an uncertain glance with Uncle Rob. Claire's mouth hung open for a beat too long before she recovered with a tight, spiraling ripple of emotion. Her eyes focused limbed on the blood. Julian stepped forward, his arm around my waist, and gave a small wave, his calm demeanor contrasting with the awkward energy of the room. It took a moment, but Cousin Emily's voice finally cut through. That's wonderful news! Congratulations! Her genuine enthusiasm seemed to shatter the tension, prompting a hesitant round of applause and a smattering of polite smiles. Still, I could sense the lingering undercurrent of unease in the air. Emily tripped on upstairs to check something out. There was a ripple of gasps and murmurs. Julian stepped forward, his arm around my waist, and gave a small wave. Downward and downward. The congratulations were slow and hesitant at first, but then Cousin Emily's voice rang out. That's wonderful news! Congratulations! Her enthusiasm seemed to break the ice, and soon others were offering polite smiles and kind words. Still, I could feel the undercurrent of tension. Thank you, I said, and while I have everyone's attention, I want to say something else. For years, I felt like an outsider in this family. I've been overlooked, dismissed, and left out. But I'm done letting that happen. I'm done letting you make me feel like I don't belong. A stunned silence followed. My dad opened his mouth as if to say something, but I held up a hand to stop him. I'm not saying this to cause a scene or make anyone feel bad. For years, I've carried the weight of feeling invisible in this family, and it's taken me a long time to find the courage to speak up. Every slight, every overlooked moment chipped away at my confidence. But today, I'm reclaiming my voice. I'm here to make it clear that I matter, that my life and happiness are worth celebrating just as much as anyone else's in this room. I'm saying it because it needs to be said. I love this family, but I deserve to be treated with the same respect and inclusion as anyone else here. Julian squeezed my hand, his support grounding me. The weight of my words seemed to hang in the air. Then, to my surprise, Uncle Rob spoke up. You know she's right, he said. We've all been so wrapped up in our own lives that we've overlooked her. That's on us. One by one, others chimed in, offering apologies and admitting their faults. It wasn't a perfect resolution, but it was a start. By the end of the evening, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Oh. As Julian and I drove away, I looked back at the house, the lights twinkling against the dark sky. How do you feel? Julian asked. I thought for a moment before answering. Free, I said with a smile. Oh! For the first time, I had taken a stand for myself, and it felt incredible.